Okay, so here we find ourselves at problem 13, and I call this matrix training wheels. Essentially, it's getting you to understand the row commands with the matrix to see if you can then tackle the very large one that we'll have coming up. And so let's take a look at this real quick. According to this row command, it says I'm going to multiply row 1 by a negative 1/3, and that'll become the new row 1. So how you calculate that is on you, but ultimately whenever you have a fraction as your multiplier, that's really code for you're dividing all that row by that denominator. When you see this operation, your goal for this operation is to get a 1. And so let's see if that happens. It says I'm going to multiply my row 1 by negative 1/3. So here's my row 1. According to this command, the other two rows do not change. And so you need to make sure that you lock that in place. And so that's going to give me 2, 3, 2, and 5. My last one is 7, negative 5, 2, and 2. And so back here at row 1, when I multiply by a negative 1/3, that just means I'm essentially dividing all of them by a negative 3. You can do this work in your head, you can do it with your calculator, you can do it off to the side, however you see fit. Negative 3 divided by a negative 3 is, there's that 1 we were talking about. Negative 3 divided by negative 3, oh, we get 1 again. 6 divided by negative 3 would give me negative 2, and of course negative 9 divided by negative 3 would give me a positive 3. Let's look at the next one since we're on this same kind of track, and so this would be problem 14. Look at problem 14 for a minute. This has a multiplier and add, so multiply and add is always how the command to get a 0. So whatever happens in this, we should be getting a 0 somewhere in the mix. So let's take a look. According to this command, row 2 is the only one that changes, and row 1 and 3 doesn't. So let's go ahead and put 1 and 3 down. 1, 1, negative 2, 3, 7, negative 5, 2, and 2. And so let's look at this work. This says all the elements in row 1, right here, need to be multiplied by a negative 2. Once we get that data, we're going to add that to row 2, and that'll become the new row 2. So let me show you what I mean. 1 times negative 2 would be negative 2. 1 times negative 2 would be negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2 would in fact be a positive 4, and 3 times negative 2 would give me a negative 6. That's just this part, the multiplying. Now let's get to the adding part. Okay, so now we're going to take what we multiplied and we're going to add it to row 2. Whatever values I get from this adding part, that's going to be the new and improved row 2. So negative 2 plus 2, well, that gives me 0. Negative 2 plus 3 gives me positive 1. 4 plus 2 gives me 6. Negative 6 plus 5 would give me negative 1. And that's all we basically can do here. That's all it asked me to do. So I don't need to solve it all the way. I just needed to do that one row command.